So particularly in Lonsdale, we've got people that live within the city limits, and those are typically 3-car garages, and we're kind of, bulging out of them, right? And then we go right to agricultural, where we're 1 per 40. And so there's a uniqueness in Lonsdale where there's a real need for storage in Lonsdale, right? Which I think this particular product really serves a great purpose. What I love about you guys at Bell Bank is that you are a great first resource, because what I really love about you guys is that you're so approachable and you really meet people where they are, and you'll be the first to say that you don't fit every mold, but you'll be a really good guide for people based on what their needs are, right? So to just hear them and then be able to really give them good information regardless, right? So I've never felt pressure from working with
and that's one thing that I kind of pride myself on, is when someone calls me, especially if they're a referral from you, and someone calls me and says, hey, we want to get into this property in Lonsdale. We can digest a little bit about what they want, the wants and needs, and maybe that's buying a unit with a buddy that, they want to store their stuff or store cars or snowmobiles or whatever. We'll dive in and kind of do a deep dive and go, all right, what are your wants and needs? What's your cash outlay? What do we have to work with? And if that doesn't fit, Bell's box, then, maybe we'll give them some ideas or give them a nudge in a different direction. But ultimately what happens is, that conversation has to start somewhere.
Yes.
And we're the guys to start that conversation.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll, turn that potential tire kicker into a buyer.
I love that. And I think when we are seeing a product like this, or even a home today, it's so easy for people to kind of just disqualify themselves. And they just think, gosh, that just seems like there's a lot going on there. And that's what I really love about Bell, is that you guys really receive people, you listen, you go, is there something here, right? And there's no pressure, there's no requirement to do anything, right? You just really receive people in that way. And that's why our relationship has been so strong over the years. And we go back decades together. So it's been fantastic. So thank you for also sharing. I think it's a great idea, specifically in Lonsdale, to bring in a family member maybe, or a friend that can help offset the cost, or just really joint enjoyment of that space. It doesn't have to be something that you go alone, right? You can have other owners come in.
Yeah, if someone wanted to do it with a buddy or, a couple guys and, make a golf, that's the one fun thing about these. You can kind of do whatever you want.
Yeah.
So you bring in 4 guys and you have your own golf simulator.
That's awesome,
and
Chris.
You got your Harleys to look at, and you
are so right, because it doesn't, maybe some guy does want a golf sim, and then another guy has a place for his Harleys, and then up on the mezzanine you could have a buddy that's doing something else. You don't each need your own. You could cumulatively come together to make this a reality, and then keep it out of your home, your space, your garage, and what have you. So
yeah, I've seen a lot of cool things with these. My kid's a car guy, and I've done all of these car condos. We've seen them, we've toured them. They're super, super cool. I would love to have one, but it's a very unique product.
Yeah, and the options are endless. There are full kitchens. What have you seen in some of these, Chris? Share with me.
Well, I've seen one of them. I want to say it was in Chanhassen, and it was $3 million, and it literally looked. All of the inside was decked out in commercial grade kitchens, Wolf appliances. It didn't look like a car condo.
Outshine some houses.
Well, yeah. And I think that's kind of what it was. They had their Ferrari and their Bentley and in their mezzanine, and then they had a little pool table, and it's just a spot to go chill.
And that's the cool thing. They can really be anything you need them to be. Another really interesting thing that I've seen people when they invest in these is that they'll invest in them and then just rent them out. And so we'll have people that 1031 exchange into these units, and they are way easier to rent out, way more thankless to rent out than a home. We don't have to worry about plumbing issues in the home and everything else. You can just rent these out pretty stress-free. So.
I've had several clients that own these that rent them, and it's a no-brainer.
No-brainer, yeah, indeed.
Speaking of, can you do an SBA loan on one of these if it's owner-occupied for a business?
Good question. Bell does have an SBA group, so something I'd have to check on. But
very cool. Okay.
If you run your business out of it, owner-occupied, in theory, yes.
That's cool. That's awesome. Well, if there's a need, it's very likely that Bell Bank has a solution. So it's exciting. All right, Sean, Chris, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks, Ashley.
Thanks, Ashley.